and today I'll be talking about ArboNET, but sourcing that from, instead of a map, showing you how the report looks like. And for starters, you can see that it's not very interactive. It's just a report of 10 pages, and it does explain to you a little bit better about arboviral infections. And presumptive arboviral infections are viremic blood donors. That's always a fear. And then veterinary disease cases, mosquitoes, dead birds, and sentinel animals. So as with other national surveillance data, ArboNET data has several limitations that should be considered among analysis interpretation. So West Nile virus, again, I told you that was one of the most frequent disease. In fact, if we look at Arizona here, 1,114 cases of neuroinvasive, and then 531 non-neuroinvasive cases. And look at this, West Nile virus in Arizona tops in the number of deaths at 112. So 122 might have come from viremic blood donors. So this is a pretty significant amount. May not have been reflected as well in the geospatial map. Now the other one seems to be well typified in a map. If you look at some of the second or third in the group, California and Colorado, and I think we saw that. Colorado being second, and then California being third. But anything that has double numbers is striking. And in fact, if there's double numbers, like in California and Colorado, then that is of concern. Also, the presumptive viremic donors. So as long as we see here, 112 versus 11 versus 10. And the total cases then is 1645. And also the two cases that I went over, California and Colorado, have a higher number of cases. Let's move on to the next virus. Again, you're not going to be seeing double digits here. Also looking at Vermont, Virginia, Washington had some cases. So Eastern equine encephalitis virus, not many people have it. 2 people in Georgia, 1 person in Michigan. These are all notifiable diseases, by the way. And so 2, 1, and 1. This way, active surveillance can allow for proper sort of investigation, and they can keep track. So Michigan and North Carolina had 1. So there were 4 total cases. None that were not, well, all of them neuroinvasive, which is one of the call-outs that CDC made, is that you had 4 cases total of Eastern equine encephalitis. Even though this is very rare, but the people that do get it, 1 of them died. So now we're going to look at Jamestown Canyon virus. Well, first we're going to look at Jamestown Canyon virus, and this virus had 2 deaths, but there were total 27 cases. 10 were non-neuroinvasive, but 17 neuroinvasive. So they may have long-term effects. And then you have La Crosse virus disease, where 36 people had it. No deaths. Total cases, 37. And so 36 neuroinvasive and 1 non-neuroinvasive. So even though people don't die from this, but it might have consequences. So I'd skipped Jamestown Canyon virus, but there has been 2 deaths reported in New Hampshire and New Jersey. In Minnesota and New Hampshire, there were 2 cases. Also, Wisconsin had 4. So these are non-neuroinvasive. And then neuroinvasive, there were about 17, which are more severe cases than the non-neuroinvasive. One thing to note is that even if these viruses are not causing specific effects, if it is neuroinvasive, it actually might cause long-term effects. And so La Crosse virus, again, 36, 1, 37, 37 cases, no deaths. Then this is Pawasan virus disease, and this is 2 deaths, one in Minnesota, one in New York. 18 plus 1, 19. So total cases 19, and out of that 2 deaths. And then St. Louis encephalopathy, even though nobody died, there are 7 neuroinvasive cases, and then only 3 non-neuroinvasive. Next is chikungunya. The total cases for chikungunya is 22, and there's of course travel-associated disease and local. So this is all travel invasive, or acquired from traveling. So most of it was from Puerto Rico, California, Alabama. So these are non-local, the ones in Puerto Rico. So that actually sums it up. It was 8 diseases that we went over, and so these diseases, vector-borne diseases, are giving us quite a lot of different effects. So we started off with West Nile virus, and we come back full circle to this. In order to stop these diseases, we have to make it, surveillance has to be better. And a lot of this is non-reported because people don't even know that if they have West Nile or Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotty fever, all of these, and then arboviruses, which are types of vector-borne diseases, but does not have the same effect. So I hope you've seen the difference between geospatial understanding and the understanding which, as it pertains to the West as arboviruses, which usually have a parasite in the middle of it. Thank you for listening.